We're joined now by Emily Boyle for the press review. And Emily, you're starting us off with a report on migrants living in the north of France.
Yeah, this is a special report on the front page of Libération here in France this morning. Here it says, from Calais to Dunkirk, the misery of migrants. Let's have a look. It has a two-page spread dedicated to the story here after the infamous Calais jungle. It's now in Dunkirk that around 2,500 people are living in terrible conditions, living in tents, without toilets and without enough food. Now, organisations have said they're struggling to keep up with the rapidly deteriorating situation. It's so bad, in fact, that 6 organisations have brought a legal case against the French state for not respecting human rights. Now, meanwhile, on the other side of the channel, The Guardian has this long read here on the same topic. It looks at what happens when asylum seekers and migrants are sent back to France under the one-in, one-out policy. Now, one of the men interviewed had made headlines for making his way back to England a second time after being returned to France after his first attempt. He says he had to cross again. He had no choice. The smugglers in France had threatened to kill him. Now, this article says that the one-in, one-out policy is considered controversial and unduly harsh by the left, but points out that it's not convincing the right either, who says it's not effective enough.
And to the world of art next, where we previously mentioned the sale of a Gustav Klimt painting. What do you have for us on that?
Yeah, big news in the art world. As you saw previously, let's have a look at the Wall Street Journal here. A portrait of Elisabeth Lederer by Gustav Klimt has become the most expensive piece of modern art in the world. It sold at $236 million by Sotheby's in New York. Now, another piece that was sold in that sale is this gold toilet here by Maurizio Cattelan, which sold for $12.1 million. Now, interestingly, both these pieces were featured in this long read here in the New York Times. It explains that the art market hasn't been doing very well at the moment, but that 6 pieces currently on sale could be its lifeline. Auction houses have predicted that this week of sales alone, which are known as the Fall Marquee Week, could generate $2.2 billion, an increase of 75% compared to last year. And one of the items mentioned by the New York Times is a rare self-portrait by Frida Kahlo. We've got a picture of it here. This is the portrait there. It will be on sale tomorrow, on Thursday, and expected to take between $40 and $60 million. Now, CNN, meanwhile, has a slightly different take on this story here. It says, it asks why we pay less for art made by women. It says that even if $40 million for a work by a female artist is an impressive amount, it's just a fraction of the male record. And it says that this stands for living artists as well. The current sale record for work by a living male artist is $91 million. Meanwhile, the female record is only $13 million, held by Marlene Dumas for her work Miss January. Now, experts say that misogyny, ageism and male-dominated auction houses could explain why women's art is valued so differently.
And next, Emily, you bring us news from the past and future of love and romance.
Yes, well, I'm sure we can all remember our first kiss, for better or for worse, but scientists have now discovered humanity's first kiss. They've traced it back to 21 million years ago. Researchers at the University of Oxford have investigated the evolution of what they called non-aggressive mouth-to-mouth contact with some movement of the mouth parts and no food transfer, which is perhaps the least sexy way of describing a kiss I've ever heard. But anyway, they've studied Neanderthal DNA samples, and by observing other species kissing, they've established that humanity probably started snogging around 21 million years ago. The main question now is why animals and humans kiss, and some theories suggest it might be useful to assess the compatibility of a partner.
Well, the Neanderthals get a bad rap a lot of the time, but they obviously had a bit of a romantic core to them. Exactly. So that's the story on historical love. You've also found a more modern love story.
Yes, modern love, much less romantic in the papers today. This is a story in Metro here. A man who cryogenically froze his wife so he could resurrect her has found a new girlfriend. This is a man in China who froze his wife for 30 years after she passed away in 2017 in the hopes of reuniting with her after the freezing contract ended. Now, he faces backlash for moving in with his new girlfriend. Now, he said that this relationship is only utilitarian because he couldn't manage alone, and he said that his new girlfriend has not yet entered his heart. So that's probably the biggest red flag that I've ever seen. And one thing is for sure, he'll be getting the cold shoulder in 30 years' time.
Yeah, I wonder, does the new girlfriend think it's utilitarian too? Finally, Emily, Scottish football fans have something to celebrate.
Yes, this is on the front page of most papers in Scotland here. Scotland has qualified for the World Cup for the first time in 28 years. Their 4-2 win against Denmark last night earned their ticket to a World Cup, first since 1998. But what's particularly impressive is the manner in which they won the game with some truly incredible goals. Let me first show you here this sky-high bicycle kick by Scott McTominay. They're very impressive. I have no idea how he got that high up in the air. And then this one here in the last few seconds of the game, hopefully if it works, a fantastic 50-meter lob to secure their ticket to the US and Canada. Pretty classy, if you ask me.
That's great. And well, let's hope they can finally get past the group stage at the World Cup for the first time ever. Thank you very much for that, Emily Boyle, and that's all we have time for now. But do stay with us for more news coming up on France 24.